What is up, everybody? Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. As the title suggests, today we're going to review the NRPL Ultra Open layout, which, if I'm not mistaken, is happening on the 23rd-ish weekend of this month. Hopefully that's true, because that means nobody's actually played this layout except for maybe on some sort of drills. Hello, Ernesto. Welcome. Tonlo, welcome. These are facts. Welcome. How are you guys? So yes, we will be reviewing this layout. Afterwards, we will switch over to the other stream to talk about 3v3 tactics. So I'm splitting up the streams just because it ends up making it easier. I don't have to do any sort of editing after the stream, but it's also just for SEO purposes. So we'll be doing that after the stream. We might end a little bit early tonight. Not sure. It's kind of a bit of a content lull for me right now. Plus, I'm also focusing most of my time and attention on... Oh, it's this weekend. Okay, so that's good to know, because if the tournament is this weekend, then we're gonna change our analysis of this, right? Because I don't want to spend so much time trying to learn the angles myself if you guys already know because you practiced it, and I was afraid of that. But that's okay. We can still work with that. So, couple things at the top of this before we get started. Again, thank you to everybody who donated, gifted memberships, so on and so forth last stream with Ronnie D's on. That was a legendary stream. It was super fun. I really do appreciate your guys' support. If you are not a member, or excuse me, if you're not a subscriber already and you've seen a couple of my videos, consider becoming a sub. It really does help me out a lot. And liking and commenting on every video also helps for the YouTube algorithm. And if you've been a subscriber for a while and you're looking for ways to support the channel, support me in my efforts to help you guys, consider becoming a member. There's two membership options. One is like $3. The other one's like $10. So just give it a consideration. That's as much as I'm asking. So thank you guys so much. And with that out of the way, oh, and lastly, be sure to join the Discord server. I will constantly plug the Discord server till the day I die. I will definitely be sharing things such as breakouts and other sorts of hidden gems there first before anywhere else. So be sure to join that Discord server and choose a role. I cannot tell you how many times I have to tell people, hey, choose a role, because if you don't, you won't be able to see most of the server. So membership helps with your snapshot. Brandon, welcome, buddy. Welcome. Okay, well, let's jump into it then. Let's talk about the TSXL layout, or excuse me, not the TSXL, the NRPL layout. So if I recall correctly, I was just told this. This tournament is coming up this weekend. It's too bad I didn't talk about this layout beforehand, because I feel like there would have definitely been, some interesting angles to take a look at. So here's a couple things to take note of, okay? I am going to be talking about the layout from a person who has not played it before. So I'm not going to go too crazy in depth with it in certain situations, because I know that people who've played on the layout will have more insights than I do. But what I want to hopefully accomplish is giving you guys some sort of ideas for breakouts that you could try, or interesting things to note that may give you a different perspective than you've already picked up on. But good luck to everybody who will be playing this layout. I'll be super curious to hear how that goes. I know Tonlo shares quite a bit from that tournament. So, okay, first things first, backline routes are always interesting to take a look at. So you've got quite a bit of open shots. It looks to be that if you can cross... Actually, this first gap right here, it looks to be that if you... Oh, no, excuse me, this one. If you can cross this dead zone, it looks to be that you can make it to the Doritos pretty easily. And that from there even has a lot of options. So if you do end up crossing the Doritos in this little zone right here, it looks to be that you have quite a few options here, assuming that you can get there before this guy kills you. I am going to try to go through this really quickly because I know you guys, most of you have already played this. So... nice little inside heads up battle there. Otherwise, you can get low enough and blind that dude out, but you will have to fight your mirror if you guys stop short of this little mini Dorito. Pushing out from there is going to be a pretty tall order, and in fact, it looks like... I mean, you can certainly take this route out to this Dorito, but if there's a guy in that tower, it's going to be pretty hard to get him in, to put him in and go as well. Oh, snap. I made a live. Charles Holland, welcome. Welcome to the live, buddy. So that's interesting. That's going to be a tough one for people to fight out of. So it looks to be that if you take this Dorito off break, it seems to be easier to punch that way. If you take the corner, it's going to be easier to punch that way, primarily because this guy is hard to battle unless you take the inside shot and then dive, and you have to hope this guy doesn't have paint on your way already. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess we could do the zones as well. I feel like the zones don't really matter as much because you guys have already played it. You've already played this layout. So, ooh, is that the zone? No, I think this is the zone. Yeah, I think that's the zone. It looks like. That's a tricky one. This could be a 5-zone field. No, that probably serves its purpose. So again, this is Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas, or Utah. You can use whichever one. Nevada and Iowa. So I would suspect that, you know, not off the break necessarily would you find your front player always in one of these two bunkers. It's probably going to be that they'll pull up short at some points, but otherwise that seems pretty good. Again, the same thing for the Arizona call. It's, you know, there's a lot of layouts where like the front snake guy is going to get to his primary bunker and he's not going to be the widest, or he's not going to be very wide. And in which case it's still fine to call out the Arizona call. Just so your teammates know that they're not anywhere past the god is generally the purpose for that. They could be in here, which is a bit misleading. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. So let's continue looking at the back line and then we'll go into each bunker. So you've got a very wide open heads up here with lots of visibility, and you can drop shot over that brick. You've got, I have such bad frames in this app. I'm not sure why. A huge fight to get out of here as well, which the home guy can still bully, right? So if you're the home guy here and you want to put a lot of pressure on people, you can just dump paint there and just keep that guy honest. He'll have to go low to get around that. But otherwise, that's a huge gun battle. Here's a huge heads up fight. Interesting. This layout is really, really aggressive. It's very skill-based, it appears. Like, there's a lot of heads up gunplay going on. So, like, your cross shot here is going to be to stop somebody to get to, what is that? Their Dorito 4, probably. So there's not really any crosses there. Same is true for this. Man, my frames. Hold on. Let me reset this. See if it does anything. Anything at all. Okay. Still not great, but that's okay. We'll work with it. So it seems that you don't really have to worry about anybody heads up here, except for maybe I don't think that guy's going to be shooting at you. So who's going to stop you on the inside? That tower. This tower right here could stop you pretty easily. Sorry, this will be quick, I promise. I just want to understand this really fast. Again, just wide gaps. I guess if you back off, you've got a Doritos challenge you could take if you wanted. Right here. Otherwise, the tower can stop you. Your heads up can stop you to get out here. But I don't think there's really a whole lot. I mean, this guy in the wedge could stop you. That would be a sneaky play. If you came here and played high. That could be a nice little counter there. Okay. Let's then go heads up. This is not a true tape. The corner guy can't technically see you. I mean, he will if you try to move, but he can't see you if you just peek, which is interesting. This is the first snake, technically, and there's no guarantee kills. Except that baby Dorito is kind of interesting. So if you do lob some shots right here, you could get some pretty cheeky kills that way. If that guy in the Dorito 1's trying to fight the tower guy on the inside, like this, to get him to flinch and then go, that snake shot will keep that guy from doing that. Will prevent him from doing that freely. So if you take the snake bite early, if you pull up deep on the snake, and well, even if they don't pull up short, it still might be worth it to put a few balls there. And even more so here, now you can actually challenge the guy straight up. You can't see anything else except for gaps on the Doritos. So this snake 2 is just for that small Dorito bunker, which I don't even know if you'd need to do that. Otherwise, if you get here, the low wrap on the home puts this guy behind his gun already. So if you have time, can you do USB XL layout? I won't have time for this stream. When is the tournament, Tate? If you, the easiest way, did you ask in the Discord server for me to do that? I'm sorry if you did. I know I've been getting asked to do a lot of different layouts recently, so it's hard for me to keep track. But usually the best way to ensure that I cover a layout is the day before. Like on Wednesday, I post July 16th. That's next weekend. I haven't yet. Yeah, the easiest way is if I at everybody in the Discord server that has the baller tag and I say, hey, what do you guys want me to cover on Thursday stream or tomorrow? That's the easiest way for me to cover it. So, okay. So that's an interesting battle right there. Otherwise, this gap would kind of suck to get surprised by, but I really don't think... I just feel like Doritos don't, especially that far up, don't really spend any amount of time shooting a cross shot without any sort of communication. So that Dorito guy can definitely kill you if you're at the 50 and you're trying to move. Like, for example, the home guy, if you're here and he's screaming, you know, Viper, for example, which is what we call the 50... We would call this probably Viper. This guy could just shift his gun Dorito way entirely, and then this guy holds the gap. The problem is that this guy has to shoot paint. There's no way he could clip that guy in any way without just putting paint there. And so now you're revealing the fact that you've got a crossfield shot. Like, this guy has a bunch of intel now if you start dumping paint in this zone right here, right? So standing up over the top, you do have a challenge right here. That's a shot that you could shoot that guy with. So if you do manage to get, I mean, you have to be careful for that guy killing you too, but if you do get to this 50 and you feel like there's a crossfield shot that's stopping you, you might pull back and try to shoot this. I would suspect that you can get that guy to flinch and then take the bite from there, but that's again assuming that the snake side is like blown out at this point, right? If you get to their snake at this point, if you're here and they're not in the corner, your concern is definitely the god, but otherwise this is just kind of a run down everybody situation. You can obviously kill the Doritos at this point for free. And then everybody, like this home guy's dead, the tower guy's dead. This guy's probably dead, depending on... Yeah, kind of depending. This guy's safe right here. Next and packs, baby. Next packs and backs is what you're looking for. So, okay, interesting. That's an interesting route. Let's see what was here again. Not a whole lot inside. Man, that little Dorito can get bullied by a lot of people. So, hold on one second. I'll hold that thought. Interesting. This is a cool little zone right here. Who can see you if you go right here? This tower guy? I guess if he's looking your way, if this is a move you make a lot, he would. And the Dorito if he's looking on the inside. But otherwise, like, you could probably get here looking Dorito way and maybe get a cheeky kill on somebody with their head sticking out. But anyway, I just am always curious about those like inside highway routes on the snake side, because I feel like if you're brave enough, you can make a lot of those plays that put your opponents on their toes, right? The same is true that like if they're shallow on the Dorito side. So let's say for example you go here off break and you hear Tiger 1 Dorito side, or Lucy. If you hear Lucy or something, if you guys use that call, which we're assuming is within the first 10 seconds of the point, so within the breakout. If you get here off the break and you hear Lucy Doritos or something, you could probably go up here pretty quickly and challenge this guy right here if you wanted. I mean, it's a straight up gunfight, right? Like, you either kill him or he kills you, probably. Assuming he doesn't see you make this move. Would he? Yeah, he probably would. Maybe that's not a good idea unless you went super low. But the idea here is that if you isolate this guy who's in the god, and this is the dude behind him, you might surprise this guy to kill him. And if you do, then now all of a sudden you punch in here and either trading with the home guy or killing him if he's not looking your way, and then you're running and stabbing this guy down. Or if you want to take it even safer, once you kill this guy, you come on the inside and you can sit here and stare for a minute to see if somebody takes the bite in that Dorito gap, which you can respond to pretty easily. And then you can come here, because again, this god guy is looking heads up. He's looking heads up to get into the snake. So if you then come here and nobody knows, now all of a sudden you've got a super easy bait. Otherwise, you can abuse the fact that he's... I joined the Discord. Beautiful. I saw that. Make sure to choose a role in the roles channel. But now you can sit here and stare at this guy and wait a couple seconds. If he's not looking your way, all of a sudden now you got to wrap on the home, this guy, and then you can kill this dude. So that's a pretty dangerous inside route, which again is this off the break. Oh, excuse me. Not that. It is this off the break. And then here, kill this guy, take this inside route. Their biggest threat is going to be the home guy, probably, because I would suspect that the Doritos are going to be looking... Excuse me, the Doritos are going to be looking heads up, probably. Because we'll see that in just a second, whether or not there's, like, good inside shots. So, I will say... If people are taking the corner off break, this isn't a bad shot for you when you go to this bunker. It's not a great shot, but it's not bad. It's definitely there. Would it make sense for this guy to cross, though, is the question? Yeah, there's plenty of gaps there. So you guys could cross off the break, which would definitely prevent some of that sneakiness. Because if you, for example, did that, that's actually not a bad cross, because you do, if you look this way, shooting at the corner, you will see a guy taking this bite up to, we'll call it the Seattle, right? You'll see the guy go from this bunker over to this one. So maybe that's worth it in the breakout in the early game for like 10-15 seconds or something, to just put your gun that way. Can you shoot the snake runner? Possibly. Yeah, you probably could. Yeah, actually you could. This is a really big gap. Really big gap to shoot the snake runner. So maybe that's what people are doing. I don't know. You guys who've played the layout, you can tell me if people are crossing on these number 2 positions. Right here. If these guys are crossing off the break, I wouldn't be surprised, because it feels like those gaps are definitely there. Especially because these are really, really low. All right, let's look at the Doritos really quick, and then we'll talk about breakouts and share any other occasionally. Okay, interesting. So if you go to the corner, you can battle the guy that gets to the smaller Dorito. Yes, you shoot the god from the D side. Okay, that's what it seemed like. I had my guys do that, and it works. Okay, that appears mostly their heads up. Well, so one thing I will say, guys, I'm not saying this to you specifically, David, but one thing to consider, and I don't have any way to gauge this because you guys aren't telling me, but the way that Division 4 is going to play this field is going to be very different than somebody in semi-pro. So that's something to keep in mind, is like what worked for you guys and what was working for the people you were playing against might not be what's working on other divisions, right? And that's true in the reverse order, right? Sometimes what you do on the like in a semi-pro or pro setting, is kind of weird and janky against people who are not as good, right? Or maybe you don't even need to go complicated, right? So anyway, so this is an interesting gun battle. This is a safer gun battle for you than it is for them, probably. And or rather, what I should say is, this gun battle is one that would be worth taking, because if you can stop them at this little Dorito, that guy gets bullied from a lot of cross inside shots, right? We've established that there's a snake shot that you can dump on this guy from here, is it? Yeah. There's a shot here you can dump on that Dorito one and just put like 10 shots, 20 shots. There's the same shot you can do right here on that Dorito guy. So a lot of the moves that you make, the same shot, right? You can get that guy really small as long as you have somebody wide and keeping him contained. So that's interesting. So that means although you might be able to make it to this bunker off the break, and all you need, be careful about doing that, especially getting stuck here, right? I think we've established that if you can make it past this gap, you can probably make it to that Dorito pretty easily. But now that I say that, we have a cross shot on the snake side, right? Yep. So if you, I mean, there's definitely a shot there, but if you can make it past this gap from with the home or the can that would be shooting you, if you can make it past this gap, you can take this Dorito. So there's probably no reason to stop here, I would suspect. I mean, people are going to, right? But that's going to be the same gap. So just keep that in mind. You might be able to take really easy ground off the break. And in fact, if you do cross, No, you won't be able to take it right away because this guy's gonna challenge you. If you do make it to that Dorito, we'll call it Dorito 2. I don't know. If I were to actually label these bunkers, not that anybody's gonna change it after me, I'd probably call that baby. And then I'd call this Dorito 1, 2, 3. It's kind of tricky. It also could be baby and then beast, and then Dorito 1, Dorito 2, Omaha. Excuse me, that's a 2. Yeah, that gap is not there for the home guy to stop you. That's a big run, by the way. This is a huge run. You can definitely do it for sure. And in fact, the only guy that can really stop you is the tower, assuming that they're playing wide on you. And that guy's got a high shot, which means that if you back off your bunker and get really low to start, and you can get in this little pocket right here, you can take that bite all the way up. If you have a home guy sitting shooting at the other home or snake, you give your Dorito runner a clear run to D1, snake corner. To Dorito. Oh, yeah. I would suspect that, yeah, if you call, for example, sorry, 1 second. If you call, what do we say, 32? I would suspect that means you could probably go here off break. Because the only guy that's going to kill you unless they're faking you out is the guy running and gunning to the can if they're doing that. And that's going to be a hard shot. It's there. It's definitely there, but it's going to be a harder shot. And if you do hear 32 and they have been killing you in this zone, then just run the baseline and get here first. And then you're good to go up to this Dorito 1, right? Because as soon as you get here, the can can't see you. Can he? Ooh. He actually kind of can, but I think you could... No, you'll slide under that. If you slide into this bunker, you're totally golden. So if you're afraid of getting shot on that route, just take it wide here, run baseline. And if that's the case, you could actually probably... You wouldn't even have to stop, I would suspect. You could probably just take this route right off the break. You could probably even take this route if you were fast, because by the time the can guy realizes what you're doing, I mean, it's obviously a risk, but like it might be that you can just run right past that. So keep that in mind. I've seen some people delay at the Dorito tower and then move into the Dorito 1. So let's look at that. Yeah, your only challenge is going to be that guy who's cross on you. Yeah, but the snake wedge will always get the Dorito 3. Well, that's again assuming that the Dorito wedge guy is shooting cross on you. So here's what I mean, again, this is totally possible. This is just what the assumptions that I'm working off of are that a lot of teams do not dedicate their front players to cross shots off the break. They will get there off the break and then shoot them for 15 seconds at most, but they will quickly give up on those shots, right? Because you kind of have to, depending on what the score is, right? So if we're assuming that it's 0-0, those front guys are going to want, if they want to win, they're going to stop shooting a cross shot to then push up the field, because otherwise you have zero forward progression. If you were up like 4-2, then and that cross shot was really hard to break, then I would suspect that the front players are going to stay on that cross shot for as long as it takes. But generally speaking, you know, you don't want your front players to stay cross forever, and you don't want your number 2s to do that either, because now all of a sudden your only protection to your front players is being dedicated on a crossfield shot, so that there's really no time. Like this guy over here is not going to react to some dude who's going to run down a guy in the snake quick enough, or the balls aren't going to be able to travel there fast enough for him to protect the guy, and the same is true for the opposite. And so when we talk about crossfield shots on opposite sides of the field, there's an assumption that we can make that those crossfield shots are only going to be stuck to for probably 15 to 20 seconds against a team that is good, right? Against a good team. And that is simply because those good teams, again, we're assuming it's 0-0, those good teams know that if you want to win, you have to push. Now, it's possible that one side of the field could be super dug in, and the other side is the push side, right? We've established this before, which is generally what you want to do, right? You want to choose a side to push, be deliberate about that, because it'll inform what shots you take off the break. You can certainly run a default breakout where everybody's read and reacting, right? Both sides of the field are going to push if they can. When they get kills, everybody's pushing. But if you want to make really tricky plays that are hard to respond to, then it's possible for your number 2 to take in a cross shot, because the guy that's widest on the Dorito is going to play for his life. He's just going to play super cautious, play super safe. It generally means that your home guy is going to be kind of doing some sort of pivot, watching over the Doritos every so often and making sure that your front Dorito guy doesn't just get run down. So sorry, he's going to kind of scan this whole zone while your front Dorito guy is an island. I'm drawing so many lines, but this guy's an island, and then this dude is usually helping some kind of middle or snake side area, and then you push 2 people over here. So it's essentially a 3-man push, or a 2-man push supported by the cross guy. Again, if that even works, right? It depends on the reason that you do that is because if you have a crossfield guy shooting this direction, it stops a lot of center pushes that are going to counter that, right? Because the easiest way to stop a really aggressive push on one side of the field is to get to the middle and watch for those angles as they cross those zones. And the way that you then counter that is you have a guy crossfield looking for those gaps. So that's this guy's job. So although he's not like really going to be getting any sort of kills cross field, it's still very helpful to have someone's eyes on the response to your aggression on one side of the field. Derek, what's up, dude? There is a nice lane at home shooting towards Dorito off break, shooting between Baby and Dorito Tower. So that's going to be these 2. Baby and Dorito Tower. Yeah, it's this one right here. Yeah, that's really strong. Really, really strong. And that's the gap that we talked about, right? If you survive that gap as a Dorito runner, you're clear to go pretty much anywhere here that you want, with the exception of the guy who's going to be here. And in fact, that guy can't see you. Yeah, I think I mean, certainly there's going to be plays that people make to respond to that. If it's like, hey, our home guy is not shooting the Dorito runner, and because of that, they're getting to the Dorito 3 off the break. What can we do to respond to that? Well, it might be that the guy who runs out to this tower just plays heads up and just pumps a bunch of paint right here, and stops that. But most teams I've played on this layout would delay to save their runner. Okay, interesting. Which I'm not surprised by. I mean, this isn't a terribly hard shot to kill. Like, this is a big gap right here. This is a pretty big gap, but the advantage to that is that you have a lot of different routes to get to different places, right? You have the same lane, but it's different depths, which the difference between shooting paint here versus shooting paint here, or rather, excuse me, the difference between shooting paint here versus shooting paint here versus shooting paint here is very different. So you could run baseline and then go in. You could take the straight route to the corner, or you could take the straight route to the Doritos. And those are all going to be very different. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. My favorite bunker is in the middle. You can shoot the D side. Okay, let's take a look at the middle then really quick. So a lot of stuff up the middle. It seems to be that you could respond to a lot of stuff too, right? Like if you shot that Dorito lane and they didn't cross it, they pulled up short, you could probably shoot heads up for a second and come here and get even closer. And then I don't know if I'd go any further than that, at least on that side. If you came here, you could contain them even further, which seems to be pretty good. So that would be... you start here shooting... Was that Dorito way or Snake way? That's Dorito way. Okay. So you come here, shoot Dorito. If they don't cross this zone, come here and here. And now all of a sudden you've got an even closer gap to... You don't even have to probably shoot paint there. Well, yeah, I wouldn't think that you would. I think you could actually sit here if you wanted. And you could probably, as long as you have vision of that tower... and see as soon as they leave that and you just put paint right here, I think you could totally respond to that without having to put paint there to begin with. So that's a good route. That's a sweet route. If you walk up to the pin, you can shoot the Dorito tower off break. Yes, I would suspect so. So if you come here and you shoot this lane right here, that guy's gonna have a hard time. He's gonna have a bad time. So that's a pretty good route. And in fact, if you miss him there and you contain him outside of it, as long as the home guy doesn't pick up on what you're doing, because if he does, this guy's gonna stop this. But yeah, higher? Do you mean inner? I mean, I'm not saying you shoot low, right? I'm just saying this gap, but I wouldn't suspect you try to shoot him on the left side of this pin, because that's going to be, I mean, you could absolutely. It's not impossible. I don't know which is easier. So, but yeah, choose one, find out. I don't suspect you would go to this Aztec unless you were trying to do some sort of run through, like hard push. Yeah, that seems super risky, especially because everybody's going to be fanning out looking at you. So I don't suspect that's going to work, especially if those guys shoot cross. So, I mean, it's always possible if you play a team in a lower division that just always plays heads up, like these guys are playing heads up and these guys are playing heads up, you could delay up the middle to this bunker and probably surprise somebody. But if you try to take that off the break, anybody's going to see you, I would suspect. So then if we just go to the Aztec if you have more bodies. Do you mean the tall tower, the Maya, or you mean this Aztec right here? Because yeah, if you've got more bodies on one particular side, you could definitely chop off something up that middle. But okay, let's take a look at these real quick. That's a cheeky spot right here. That's pretty gnarly. No center Aztec. Oh, okay. That's a pretty gnarly route you could take. The problem is it's very visible. And let's see if they passed. So if they have a guy here and a guy here, and you're in this 50 brick, so you've kind of failed the job or you responded too late. The inside shot's not really great. You could definitely challenge that guy, but I don't even know if you'd want to expose yourself doing that. Nobody's gonna see you here, except for maybe the god and the guy behind him. The guy behind him might see you if he's in this tower or in this can. Hey man, this is the first time I've ever been able to catch a stream. Love the content. Paul, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And thank you very much. So I would suspect that if you're in this middle and those guys, like you were trying to do some sort of Dorito side bait or trap of some sort, and there's a guy here and a guy in the Dorito, like the baby will say, you kind of are useless to do anything on the Dorito side at this point, except to shoot this gap, which I wouldn't wait to concede that much Dorito ground before you do something. So I would probably look here. I would check to see if the can is looking at you or if the god's looking at you. And if he's not, you could ooh, that snake one's going to kill you. That snake one's going to murder you. You could probably wrap low, come here. Still can't see the Doritos. And at this point, you're a snake player, right? I guess the question is, why would you do that, right? Because the idea would be that you go to that brick to bait the Doritos, and if you go here, you've given up that play. And so the only way to salvage it is if you go here. And you have to shoot the snake guy. You have to shoot the snake one guy, assuming he's not looking at you, which is totally possible. You could clip a hopper if that snake one guy is trying to shoot that blind shot to the Doritos. But if you get here now and you're trying to bait the Doritos at this point, you are waiting to get shot in the pack. This is a great bait. I mean, it is definitely there, but your opportunity to survive goes way down when you go here, because this guy could shoot you in the pack. Either one of these people could threaten your livelihood. So, sup boys, West Texas in here. Eli, welcome. Just watched one of your videos for the first time, and I get to catch you live. Looking at playing my first game in a few weeks. Digging the content so far. That one goalie 122. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Stick around after this section, which we're going to be doing for maybe just, I don't know, 15 minutes or more. We will then move into 3v3s, which is a really good way to learn the game. So, okay, so now that we've talked about that, let's do some. I mean, the thing that sucks is I'm covering this layout when people have already played on it, so I can't imagine that I'm going to be coming up with anything that's like revolutionary or so much different than what people are already doing. But you know, I hope that I help teams that don't have a coach, that don't have the time or whatever to sit and think and analyze these layouts like I do. So hopefully I can help you in some way by talking about this. But, you know, teams that actually have a coach who've had team meetings prior to this event, I'm probably not going to have anything of value to tell you. But here's the first thing that we've learned. Let's talk about the Dorito side, and then we'll move to the middle, and then we'll move to the edge. Got me till I pass out. Just trying to learn as much as I can. Plan on playing the Doritos as much as I can. Awesome. Welcome. Okay, so this gap, if you cross it, if you survive that gap, you can take these well, I don't know why you'd take this one right here, but you can at least take this Dorito. We've established that you can't take the one after that though, right? For free? Yeah, because the can is going to stop you. This guy's going to be a problem. Unless what you do is you challenge him right away, which is always a possibility. So the reason that works is because as soon as you get to this bunker and you get low, you have to be quick. And I'm actually not sure that that's super safe because this guy might be able to see you. But if you get low and you surprise this guy, assuming he doesn't have paint coming your way already, again, this is in the breakout, essentially. Within the first 10 to 15 seconds of a point, if you take this bite off the break, you shoot this guy and you get him to flinch, you could probably get to this Dorito right away, which would be a massive amount of pressure. And now you stand tall and all you're doing is raining paint down on this guy and keeping this guy contained. You're just, I mean, you obviously don't want this guy to see you, but if you back up a little farther, you could probably stand tall enough to shoot this guy or at least pressure him, and you can have eyes on this dude without him actually being able to shoot you. So that's interesting. So let's go back. I would suspect, you know, one thing we didn't actually look at really quick is we did not look at the delays that exist or the double stacks. So double stack potential in this layout is really strong, and a double stacking is always it's always a safe option if you're trying to risk a body on one side of the field. It's not safe, but it's, you know, it's mitigating risk. So for example, let's say you're really struggling to get out on the snake side of the field. Okay. This guy who's running out, no matter where he's going, he's dying every time. And so you need to pull him up short, or you're just going to risk him regardless. He's going to just try to take different routes to get out. Okay. He's going to take one of those two routes. Well, if that's the case, it's always okay to have this guy stay at home while you risk this body. And then depending on if he dies or not, which this needs to be immediately after the breakout, this guy then comes here. Okay. And the value in that is just that you can have another gun up while maximizing your safety here. But it might be that this guy just needs more room to run, right? Not always the case, but like sometimes when this guy's trying to run out and this guy's running out as well, it just kind of gets chaos. It just kind of gets crazy. The Dorito Tower can get... Wait, the Dorito Tower can get the D3 shooting over the D50. Oh, okay. I see. So over here. Wait, is that what you were meaning? The Dorito Tower can get the D3 shooting over the 50. Yeah. Okay. So I assume depending on the layout, depending on what this looks like, I think you're talking about this shot. I assume. Because I don't think this is... You're not calling this the Dorito 3. Oh, this is probably what you're calling the Dorito 3. This guy can get this dude. Okay. So then it might not be as free as I'm thinking. Because I would suspect that, yeah, that guy's going to see you if you try to challenge. So it might be that if you win this gun battle right off the break, then you wrap. But like we're talking two guys you got to put in. Which, yeah, you got to be outclassing your opponents at that point. I call that Dorito 1. Wait, you call the Doritos that are forward progressed lower? Dude, you're like one of the only people I know who do that. So you call this Dorito 1 and this Dorito 3? Is that what am I understanding that? The Dorito Tower is hidden by D2. No. Okay. I was like, what? I think I'm following. You're still going this direction, but okay. Forward is Dorito 3. Okay. I was like, what? Okay. I don't know why I misunderstood that. Okay, let's go back to the top-down view. So there's massive amounts of gaps right here, right? From the home, you can shoot these gaps. I know the can's blocking that inside route, but if you go up to this can here, you have that inside shot. It's actually... No, it's not that. Sorry. It is this and that. Right? So that's a massive gap. You've also got... I mean, you've got so many shots over on the snake, especially if you shoot over the top of these bricks. But you can shoot... Well, really... You can shoot here all the way over to here, especially if you drop shot. What was the freer route? This gap right here is nasty. So I would suspect that you want somebody shooting this Dorito gap every single point. So we're going to say... Oh, didn't mean to do that. We're going to say that somebody every single point is shooting this Dorito gap. Until they start pulling up short. So let's look at what a default breakout would be really quick. I'll hopefully try to do this fast. Default breakout's going to be shoot here. Take the... If you're shooting Dorito side, you're probably kicking out your Dorito side, which means option between... We'll say default safe. Option between these two bunkers for your front guy. And this to just be your default number 2. Your number 2 guy is going to shoot somewhere the snake way. I'm not going to designate like the specific lane, just whatever's easiest. It's somewhere here in this gap. So this is your number 3 then. And then your number 1 on this Dorito. Got caught up folding clothes, but I'm here. Sounds good, buddy. Thank you. What music is this? Oh, sick. Black Rock Mountain, dude. Hearthstone music. Where are my Hearthstone homies at? I would suspect the snake side's going to be super hard to survive. There are a lot of lob shots from Dorito Tower towards Snake Corner. Yeah, no, I mean, this... I'm just drawing one line, but this entire section is open to that Dorito Corner guy. So, I would say that if you're having survivability issues, I would suspect that you double stack the home. And you do that, where you put your number 2 looking snake side, because that snake side gap is also really good. And this could be just like... Wait, where is it? It's not there. I don't want to... Here, I got it. I got to. Oh, we said that this yeah, actually, that shot is not great. You're shooting over the top. You're shooting this valley, possibly. Right here. Hi, buddy. Hi, sweetheart. My son just got home. I'm going to have to say goodnight to him here in just a second. Let's see. Man, that... I was going to say double stacking the home seems obvious, but those snake side shots from the home are not great. And you've already got the snake side shots covered because of this guy running out. Right? Because now he's got this huge gap here. What do you... Okay, let me ask you guys, for those who've played this layout, what is the snake side doing? Because my problem that I'm having right now is that this gap is so scary that we've just established that there's so many shots from the home. Well, not from the home necessarily, but there's so many shots from this guy. Some points as the one on the snake side, I would take a knee and shoot the D side on that dead zone and go up and over. Heads up. Well, I'm not saying... I'm just wanting to know... I assume that they're going heads up. Like the number 2, for example, could easily come here and shoot cross if you wanted, or he could go heads up if you wanted, but that means that you're risking your front snake guy every point, right? Which is fine. You can get to this god. This god is definitely makeable. In fact, I think it's probably more than makeable. Because that Dorito Tower guy, that's a hard shot. I don't see any shots inside of the snake. Front snake. Wait, I don't see any shots inside of the snake. Yeah, there's not a ton. There's just a lot of lob shots, it feels like, or zone control, right? Like, you've got gaps you can control. But all you're really trying to do at this point is get to their side, it seems. Like, if you can get to their snake, their viper or whatever, then you've got a tower kill for sure. This Dorito guy's in trouble. If you don't even get there, the home guy's probably dead if he's not looking your way. Yeah, it's a tough snake. I'll be honest. That's a tough snake. I've been going snake 1 or 2 off break. Okay. So, all right, then. I'm just going to take your guys' word for it and say that what seems to be happening is that the number 2 is shooting some cross shot towards the snake. The number 1 is taking one of these 2 routes, with this being an option. If you hear... What did we say? If you hear 23... If you hear 23, you could probably take this Dorito, no problem. And then you've got your home guy shooting this gap. You've got your front snake guy, we'll say, is going anywhere between these gaps. Obviously, you could run to the corner, right? We could do that as well. So I'm going to say this is an option for the 1. And then your number 2 is, I don't think staying at home. Oh my gosh, I can't draw 3. I don't think that staying at home and delaying is great. Maybe they do play some kind of dead zone, but otherwise they're kind of floating out here, and maybe they go up here or something like that, because then you could do this supported push route. Guys, give me just a second. I will be right back, and then we'll keep talking. Hold on. Sorry about that. We're back. Let's see. Not on the outer snake. It's a battle. You have to rely on the D side to see if anyone gets out wide. Some points, people were going God. Then the 2 would go to corner. Yeah, so that's a typical leapfrog, right? Typical leapfrog is you draw guns shallow. You draw shallow guns towards the snake, and the guy runs out to the corner, which is a very strong move, I would imagine. I noticed some points they would send the 2 to the snake wedge and the 1 to God and into the snake. Yeah, so the thing that's going to trip up the snake guys is this inside wedge route, right? Because nobody's going to see you make this route unless it's this can guy, very likely. And depending on how quickly you make it, that can guy might even be looking on the Dorito side. Might, right? Is the key word here. The Aztec will stop you if you go too high. And even if you go low, he might still hit you. But if you take this route low and slide right here, that Aztec is going to have a hard time stopping you. And now you're in a super prime position to kill the snake, depending on where they stopped. So, and what sucks is it feels like the snake is a struggle to get into or struggle to push. And even when you get in there, you don't have a lot of free kills right here, right? You kind of need to get to their snake side in order for you to be super dangerous and effective. So, I wish I had some kind of sneaky, cheeky, reeky-deeky routes. I really don't. It seems to be that if you, for example, hold them, I think the cheekiest thing is if you hold them wide on the Dorito, like if they don't break out past this Aztec, I really do think that you can take this route really quickly and take over and just hold them from that position. And you've essentially created a 3-man push on the snake side, right? You've got your number 3 here, and then 3 people, like in total, 3 people are on the snake side, which means that these 2 would kind of just either stay alive or read and react and push accordingly. So, but everything else seems pretty straightforward, guys. This is a very skill-oriented field. And what I mean by that is that a lot of your ability, I would assume, a lot of your ability to like make progress on this field is going to come down to how well you snap shoot and get in a heads-up gun battle, and how effectively you put in the people that you need to put in to then move. Because it's a lot of it, like there's a lot of layouts where you rely on a lot of cross-field communication, where people pick up on those calls and they start shooting cross-field shots. But really the only ones that we've seen that kind of exist is if you bully this Dorito 1 guy, which has a lot of shots on him, right? But like this Dorito 1 guy, or this baby Dorito we'll call him, that guy can get bullied by a lot of people. And so if you find that teams are, when they take this Dorito route, are stopping here, even if like, for example, you stop them at the Aztec and then their secondary move is to this Dorito, you can do a lot to punish people who do that, because you've not only slowed their progression almost indefinitely off the breakout to stop here because you're just hitting your shots, but it also means that even their secondary move is really bad, and by the time they make it, you've got people in hopefully a position to lob some shots out and over. Like for example, even if you're just kind of matched, well, that's probably not a great angle, but like if you are here and you've got a guy in the snake here, that guy is going to have a hard time living. That guy is going to have a really hard time living. We need to save up some money and fly Steven out to play NR. I think he would love it. Dude, this looks like a really fun layout. I think I would like to and Sage and Christian. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. And Brandon. I think Brandon's still here in the chat. But yeah, dude, I would absolutely be down. I would love to do some more traveling next year, but obviously it's money dependent, so which it doesn't look like anything's changing. So, okay. I think that's it, guys. I wish I had some more like crazy cool plays. I could probably think of some stuff between now and the tournament and share those with you. Does the tournament start tomorrow or does it start Saturday? Because that's going to be key. If it starts tomorrow, I won't have those out for you. But if it starts on Saturday, I might have a couple plays here and there that I can share with you guys. But to come up with them on the spot is going to take some time. So let me know. But that's going to be it for this stream. I'm going to... Here's the link. It's just Sunday. Oh, you said that. Somebody had said that. Okay, thank you, Andy. I would think it was you that said that. Cool. That's not too bad then. If that's the case, I can definitely... If you guys are on the Discord server, I will create some breakouts and share with them there that you guys can take a look at and evaluate for yourselves. Again, take what I say with a grain of salt for a person who's not played the layout myself. And also understand that people do crazy and weird things depending on the division you play in. So some things that I think might work might actually not work because of how people play the layout. So let's see. Let me get you the link to the other stream, and then we're going to end this one and switch over to that. And then we'll go from there. 1 second. Okay, guys, if you want to learn more, Sunday, absolutely. If you guys want to follow me over to this other link here in just a minute, we'll talk about 3v3 tactics. I did have some people in the Discord server that wanted to know more about it. I've covered it on stream before, but I'm hoping that this time around it will serve as like a definitive, this is my take on 3v3 tactics. So I will end the stream. I will start that one up here in probably 2 or 3 minutes. So just hang tight. But thanks guys again so much for watching. If you're watching this as a YouTube video, say big brain in the comments. Tell me big brain. That'll give me an idea of how many people actually make it all the way to the end. Again, thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.